This is Justin Pulitzer. This is the addendum to the midweek video for Wednesday, November 15th. I left out SPY IWM and QQQ. Can't do that. All right, so let's pick up where we had left off. Anyway, SPY here, as you can see, is had a couple of look below and fails, and we today gapped and held below the 20 MA. So I'll keep it simple. I think you could play against today's range. If you get above today's high, I think it'll float to the channel high. If you lose the low and we maintain below the, what's the low here? Like 255.63 maybe. If you lose that, I think we could see the true range low here down at the 50 MA, which is right near this low, the 254. I've said for a while that I thought we would see. This was the old consolidation channel. I thought we would check back to the backside of that channel. That's also a progression line, and that would be down in the 52s. So things are softening here a little bit. You know, we've had these gap downs that have been bought up the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So, you know, if you start losing these lows here, and we were below the initial gap down low, the 256.36, and you start really accepting below, I do think we would see the 50 and the backside here. If this now gets back up above the 20, and you can start taking out some prior day's highs in this range high here, particularly a 258.59, then I think we could see the 260 and potentially still higher. So starting to transition a little bit from bullish to, I guess, sideways to bearish, but you're not in open, like, you know, dump season just yet. So keeping an eye on that. More importantly, if you go into the the ES, you can see the all-time high here was made in an after-hour session. That doesn't usually stand as the quote-unquote good high. It tends to eventually get taken. That said, we have a down channel and a channel within a channel. The ES currently, I think, is trading up in the after hours. Let's see, I got some alerts. We're not quite above that channel line, so I would need to see it clear that channel line for a retest. This was basically today's value area high, and oddly enough would be the channel high. So I'm thinking that area would be an important place to keep an eye on for a potential right or right out short for a pullback, or or if it clears. I mean, that would be a pretty important point. Let me go back. Let's take a look at IWM. This has been, remember when I said in the video that of increased volatility up at the highs? This actually is to the backside here of the old, this was the old resistance. It actually looked below and closed back above. You've been one time framing though. I think you can use today's range long above for a bounce back up here to the 147s. If you lose today's low, basically 144s, and look, this was a big level. This was the old breakout. This theoretically should be where it holds. If you lose that, then I think 142s could be in play, and potentially even down to 140, which is the channel low in the backside of the not backside, what am I saying? It's just the channel low, basically the channel low, the 200 MA, the 61.8, that area down there to me would make a lot of sense. So look, we lost 20, we saw 50, we lose 50, we could see 100. If you lose 100, you see 200. But I'm not assuming this necessarily breaks just yet, because this area was the breakout. So you had the breakout. This is theoretically just the check back. So this isn't really all that bearish just yet. So like I said, I like today's range, long above, short below. The Qs, very, very simple. You kind of broke the channel a little bit. 20 MA is important short term. Also this breakout bar high of 150, 152. They're kind of equal there. If you start losing that, then, you know, I'm thinking 150.82, and then potentially a trend touch, which coincides with the breakout and a retest of the range low. So that's what I'm thinking with the Qs. And if Apple is going to continue to be weak, that could cause further weakness in the Qs. The 50 MA is right there around the channel, so that would be, I do think that would be a interesting bounce point. It would possibly coincide with a low in Apple as well. So let's keep an eye on this. This really isn't rolling over just yet. It's still holding the 20. So as long as it holds the 20, I think it's all quote unquote hunky dory, and it could, continue to chop, basically bull flag out, and have a shot at, higher for maybe the channel high, which is significantly higher if, Apple and Google and such were to firm. But if you start losing the 20, then I'm going to start thinking 50. So we'll keep it simple like that. Sorry I had left this out of the midweek video, but it's its own little short here. So that is that. Cheers.